ljubavlju prenijeti Gospinu poruku što Gospa daje preko mene za sviju nas.
And I'm even happier that I am able to share the messages of Our Lady with you this morning. You know, the messages Our Lady has been giving through me to all of you. Close the door. Would you, Lynn, please close the door?
No problem, znaš li roda uvijek pa da nas ne umeta.
She said there are people, somebody will come with them.
Gospine glavne poruke su molitva,
The main messages Our Lady has been giving to all of us are the prayer,
obraćenje,
conversion,
post,
fasting,
pokora
penance,
i mir.
and peace.
I Gospa preporučuje da svaki dan molimo radosna, žalosna i slavna otajstva sva tri dijela Gospine
And
kronice.
Our Lady recommends to pray every day joyful, sorrowful, and glorious mysteries of the Holy Rosary.
Da srijedom i petkom posto kruhu i vodi, a najvažnije što traži čvrstu vjeru.
She wants us to fast on bread and water on Wednesdays and Fridays, but the most important thing she asks is the firm faith.
I kad Gospa kaže da molimo, ne traži da mi molimo samo riječima, nego traži da iz dana u dan otvaramo svoje srce da bi nam molitva bila zaista radost.
When Our Lady wants us to pray, she doesn't want us to pray only with the words, but she wants us to open our hearts day by day so that the prayer can become a real joy for
Kad
us.
prije nego što počnete moliti, ostranite sve one misli koje vam smeta i počnite sa jednim Oče našem.
And Our Lady says, before you start your prayer, try to put all disturbing thoughts aside, and then you start the prayer with one Our Father.
Molite kao jednoga velikoga svoga Oca koji je na nebesima,
And then you pray to your great Father who is in heaven,
koji je pun neizmjerne ljubavi, koji nas toliko
who
voli.
has an enormous love for us, who loves us so much.
I u tom trenutku prikažite mu sve svoje želje, sve svoje probleme, neka on učini kako je najbolje, nek bude njegova volja, ne naša.
And in that moment of prayer, we should present him all our desires and problems, and let him work through us, so let his will be done, not ours.
Kad sutradan ćemo moliti Zdravu Mariju,
Then we are going to pray Hail Mary.
isto tako kao našu veliku majku,
And we pray to our great mother,
koju vidimo očima našega srca,
who we see with the eyes of our hearts,
koja je neprestalno blizu nas i koja nas toliko
and who
voli.
is always close to us, who loves us so much.
Kad prekosutra molit ćemo slava Otcu,
Then we are going to pray Glory be.
ipak davati slavu svome Otcu
And we are going to glorify our Father
i zahvaljivati se na svemu što nam daje.
and to give him thanks for everything he
I
gives to
za
us,
dobro i za loše.
for good and the bad things the
Da
same way.
znamo sve jednako prihvaćati što nam dolazi od njega.
And this way we'll be able to learn to accept everything what is coming
I
from him.
tako je iz dana u dan otvarati svoje srce
And day by day we are going to open this way, to open our
i
hearts more and more,
razmišljati nad svakoj riječ koju izgovaramo.
and think about each word of prayer we
Da
say,
vidimo kolike te riječi za nas imaju značenje i da ih živimo.
so that we can find out what kind of meaning these words of prayer have for us and we live them.
I Gospa je to pokazala na tako jednom divnom primjeru.
And Our Lady gave us one beautiful example.
Kad vi svi u vašim obiteljima imate jednu saksiju cvijeća.
And she said, all of you back home have a pot with the flower growing.
I ako vi svaki dan u taj cvijet stavite 2-3 kapi vode, vidite kako on raste, razvija se i dođe jedna lijepa ruža.
And when you water this flower, every day with few drops of water you can see how it's growing and there is a beautiful rose blossoming.
Tako isto je primjer našeg srca. Ako mi svaki dan u naše srce stavimo 2 riječi molitve, ono raste, razvija se kao i onaj cvijet.
So it's the same way with our hearts. We water our hearts with few drops of prayer every day and our hearts are growing and blossoming the same way that rose did.
Ako 2-3 dana u taj cvijet ne stavimo vode, vidimo kako on nestaje kao da nikad nije ni postojao.
If we do not water that flower, we can see how it's dying and vanishing as never existed before.
Jer Gospa kaže, tako i mi često puta kad dođe vrijeme za molitvu kažemo, ma ne mogu danas moliti, umoran sam, sutra ću.
So Our Lady says there are many of you who find different kinds of excuses when the time for the prayer comes. And you say, I'm tired today, I'll pray tomorrow.
Ma dođe sutra, prekosutra i tako svaki dan našu molitvu daljavamo od sebe I u naše srce ulazi sve ono što dođe sa one loše strane.
Tomorrow we repeat the same thing day after tomorrow, and this way we distance our hearts from prayer, and then we open our hearts for all bad influences.
Jer Gospa kaže, kako god jedan cvijet ne može da živi bez vode, tako i mi ne možemo bez milosti Božje.
And our Lady says, as one flower is not able to live without water, you are not able to live without God's grace.
I kaže, molitva srca nikad se ne može naučiti i studirati. Molitvu srca jedino možemo živjeti. Iz dana u dan ići jedan korak naprijed.
And our Lady says you cannot study the prayer of the heart, you can only live the prayer of the heart, and this is the only way you are able to take steps forward.
I kad Gospa preporučuje post, kaže osobe koje su bolesne, od njih ne traži da poste o kruhu i vode, nego da se taj dan odriču nečega što im je najdraže.
When Our Lady wants us to fast, she doesn't want sick people to fast on bread and water, but she says during the days of fasting, those sick people can give up something they like the most.
A osobe koje su zdrave i kažu da ne mogu posti, da ih boli glava, da ih se manta. Jer Gospa kaže, ako mi činimo post iz ljubavi prema Isu i njoj, onda neće biti nikakvih problema, jedino što fali naša čvrsta volja.
And Our Lady says sometimes healthy people find different kind of excuses that they are not able to fast. But Our Lady says if you do fasting out of love, you do for me, love you feel for me and for Jesus, you won't have any problems. The only thing you need is your strong will.
I Gospa nas poziva na potpuno obraćenje i kaže,
And Our Lady invites us for complete conversion, and she says,
draga djeco,
dear children,
vi svi kad ste u problemima, u poteškoćama, u nevoljama,
all of you when you are in troubles and difficulties,
vi svi mislite da smo Isus i ja daleko od vas.
all of you think that Jesus and I are far away from
Jer
you.
Gospa kaže, mi smo uvijek blizu vas.
But Our Lady emphasizes we are always close
Ali
to
vi
you.
otvorite vaša srca
You need to open your hearts
da bi nas srce mogli spoznati koliko vas mi ljubimo.
so that with your hearts you are able to find out how much we love you.
I Gospa traži da se odričemo nečega što nam je najdraže.
And Our Lady wants us to do a little sacrifice, to give up something we like the most.
A njoj bi osobno bilo drago da se mi odreknemo grijeha, da ne griješimo
But
više.
she likes us the most to stop committing the sins.
I kaže, daj nam svoj mir i svoj ljubav,
And Our Lady says, I'm giving you my peace and my love.
da bi je mi mogli ponijeti u naše obitelji i dati našim prijateljima okolo
So that
nas.
we are able to carry her peace and love back to our homes and share it with our families and friends.
I zato daj nam svoj blagoslov i moli za sve nas.
And that's why she's giving us her blessing and she prays for all of
Kad
us.
na poseban način bi joj bilo drago da se u našim obiteljima, u našim zajednicama obnovi molitva krunice.
And on the special way, Our Lady will like us to renew the prayer of the Holy Rosary in our families.
A posebno da bi roditelji molili s djecom, djeca s roditeljima, da nas to nas zaista ne može ništa.
And she wants parents to pray together with children, children together with parents, so that Satan is not able to harm us.
I Gospa ističe koliko je Satana jaka da nas želi umesti u svemu.
And Our Lady emphasizes how Satan is strong, that he wants us to disturb us in everything what we do.
I zato traži da mi pojačamo naše molitve.
That's why Our Lady wants us to make our prayers stronger.
Da bi je mi našom molitvom mogli ostraniti što dalje od nas da nam ne može ništa.
So that with the prayer we are able to move Satan away from us, that he is not able to harm
Ali
us.
kaže, to najbolje možete učiniti s krunicom u ruci, najjače oružje protiv Satane.
But Our Lady says the best way to do so is the rosary in your hand. That's the strongest weapon against
Zato
Satan.
i preporučujem da mi uvijek uz nas imamo nešto blagoslovljeno, bilo križić, meduljica, jedan mali znak kako bi se što lakše moglo odbraniti od Satane.
And that's why Our Lady recommends to have something blessed with us all the time, little cross or medal, little sign, so that we are able to protect ourselves from Satan.
I preporučuje da svetu misu stavimo na prvo mjesto.
And Our Lady recommends to place the Holy Mass on the very first place in our lives.
Da je to najvažniji, najsvetiji trenutak.
That's the most important, the holiest moment in our lives.
Da u tom trenutku Isus dolazi, živi, mi ga primamo naša srca.
In that moment Jesus comes alive and we receive him with our heart.
Zato Gospod traži da se kroz to vrijeme na poseban način pripremamo, da bi Isusa što dostojnije i s ljubavlju mogli primiti.
And that's why Our Lady wants us to prepare ourselves on the special way with that meeting with Jesus, that we are able to receive him with all our love and dignity.
I preporučuje jednomjesečno sveto ispovijed.
And Our Lady recommends at least one confession monthly.
I kaže po potrebi kako se koji čovjek
And she
osjeća.
says, of course, as you feel about that, you can have more confessions.
Kaže, nemojte ispovijed shvatiti da odete, da se oslobodite grijeha i da živite istim životom.
But Our Lady doesn't want us to understand confession just to give up the sins we made and then to have the same life we had before confession.
Nego se trebamo mijenjati da budemo nove osobe.
We have to change ourselves to have new
I
personalities.
tražiti od svećenika savjet da bi nam on pokazao da idemo jedan korak
And
naprijed.
we should ask the advices from our priests so that they can show us how to take the steps forward.
I na poseban način Gospa je zabrinuta za sve mlade u
On
svijetu.
the special way, Our Lady is worried about the young people all over the world.
Da se nalaze u jako teškoj
Our
situaciji.
Lady emphasizes that the young people are in a very difficult situation.
A da im mi jedino možemo pomoći našom ljubavlju i molitvom
And the
srca.
only way we can help them is our love and the prayer with the heart.
I kaže, dragi mladi, ovo što vam današnji svijet nudi, to je sve
And
prolazno.
Our Lady says, dear young people, what this world is offering to you is temporary.
I kroz to možete vidjeti da se to koristi svaki slobodan trenutak za
And
sebe.
through that you are able to see that Satan is using every free moment for himself.
A danas to najviše čini na mladima i želi razrušiti naše
And
obitelji.
he acts the most with the young people because he wants to destroy our
I
families.
kaže da ga djeca, ovo je vrijeme velike
Our
milosti.
Lady says, dear children, this time is the time of the great grace.
Želi da obnovimo njezine
She
poruke
wants us to renew her
i
messages
da ih počnemo srcem
and
živjeti.
to accept and start living her messages with our
I
hearts.
Gospa želi da mi budemo nosioci njezinog mira i da molimo za mir u
And
svijetu.
Our Lady wants us to become the carriers of her peace and to pray for peace in
Ali
the world.
Gospa najprije traži da molimo za mir u našem srcu.
But the first thing Our Lady asks is to pray for peace in our hearts.
Mir u našoj obitelji, u našoj
Then
zajednici.
for the peace in our families or
I
communities.
onda zajednički s tim istim mirom da mi molimo za mir u
And
svijetu.
then having peace in our hearts and peace in our families to pray for peace in the world.
Jer Gospa kaže, ako vi molite za mir u svijetu, a nemate osobnog mira u vašem srcu, ta molitva nije toliko vrijedna.
And Our Lady says, if you pray for peace in the world without having inner peace, peace in your heart, then that prayer does not worth a lot.
I preporučuje da u ovom trenutku pojačamo naše
And Our
molitve.
Lady recommends to make our prayers stronger in this very
Da
moment.
su i naše molitve potrebne, da molimo za ostvarenje Božjih i njezinih planova.
Our Lady says she needs our prayers for realizations of hers and God's plans.
Da svaki dan uzmemo Bibliju,
And she wants us to take the Holy Bible every day.
da pročitamo nekoliko reda i da to u toku dana
And to read
živimo.
few lines from Bible every day and then to place them into our
I
lives.
također Gospa ističe da molimo za svetog oca Papu,
And Our Lady emphasizes that we pray for our Father Pope,
biskupe,
bishops and
svećenike,
priests,
za
for
cijelu
all
našu
our
crkvu, da
church.
su potrebni naši molitava.
Because our church is in great need of our
A na
prayers.
poseban način moli nas da molimo za ostvarenje jednog njezinog plana koji se treba
And on
ostvariti.
the special way, Our Lady is inviting all of us to pray for one of her plans which needs to be
Ali
realized.
ono što Gospa često puta u zadnje vrijeme ističe, zašto je na poseban način zabrinuta su mladi i obitelji, da su jako teškoj situaciji.
And lately Our Lady has been emphasizing that she has been very worried about the young people and the family life, that the family life and the young people are in very difficult situation
I
nowadays.
da Gospa moli za mir.
And Our Lady also prays for
Pa
peace.
poziva i nas da i mi skupa s njom molimo za istu njeznu nakanu da je pomognemo našim molitvama.
And she invites all of us to pray together with her in order